species. I am, however, helping out, and I love wildlife in general, so I'm going to do what I can to assist and help out with the species. We do know that they're endangered, and they're basically all over the southeast and North Port. Like you mentioned, with the development that's going on and everything, we're going to start having some issues. It's going to start driving them out into the roads, develop lots. There's certain dangers, kids, animals, predators, everything, basically. So the odds are definitely stacked against them, so we're going to do what we can to help them out. So basically, the very first slide that I have is just general Wikipedia information. Basically, just explaining their habitat, their diet, the breed itself. Basically, they are, we all know they like to burrow. They love to burrow. And they have, some burrows are up to 14 feet deep. Some are anywhere from maybe golf ball size to probably fit a bowling ball down in. They do that to get out of the sun, the heat, cold weather, things like that. So basically, and as far as how they pick their burrow, we have no control over that. They go where they want. So basically, this is just general Wikipedia stuff. I mean, it's talking about their diet and everything. As far as they love grass. Every time I'm driving down the road, they're munching on Bahia grass. I don't think it really matters to them.
And they like blackberries.
Yes. Basically, as far as the burrow time goes, it explains how deep the burrows can go. Most of the burrows that I've came up on are generally pretty shallow, but you're going to see some pictures. Some of them are pretty good size. Basically, for breeding and reproduction, we're actually in it right now. As far as the females, laying their eggs and stuff, and that's another reason that City of North Port's helping out, because we actually have the GPS equipment, and we're going to keep track of the burrows that have eggs and specific sensitive type burrows. So finishing up on the Wikipedia stuff here, this is how the City of North Port is going to try to help everybody out. Basically, we're going to be working with FWC now as far as identifying burrows that are within our road right-of-way, drainage right-of-way, and city property that we're using for any kind of construction staging area. Unfortunately, we have restrictions as far as us going on private property. However, FWC can be contacted as well. So, and then we can assist them however we can with that scenario. But as far as anything you see within the roads, within our drainage where the big, the brush hog mowers go and everything, we can take care of that. We can mark off the burrows and we can make sure that the burrows are intact and safe. Basically, we've, over the last couple of months, we've developed the GPS pilot project that basically we go out and with this device right here, we basically go out in the field and we start collecting where the burrows are at. This is not for, basically, it's not going to be for the general public or anything like that. This is an in-house type, project that we're working on and for other volunteers that are assisting. And I'll pass that around a little bit. Basically, it's going to be, so we, like I said, we can track the burrows that need to be, as far as tracked properly and everything, the eggs and things like that. Like I said, we're still in the beginning projects. So we're in the beginning of the pilot project as far as locating everything, and as far as the volunteers go, I don't know how that's going to work just yet. Like I said, we're still in the beginning stages. We haven't had any further meetings, but hopefully we'll get some volunteers and we can get going with a plan and everything. And basically, once this is completed, the main purpose of this whole plan is right now we're in the middle of a 3-year road bond project. And basically where we're going right now, we need to make sure we're not going to harm any burrows. You have a lot of heavy equipment coming in and out, so we need to make sure there's nothing within our right-of-way. Same thing with drainage, and same thing with city property as far as if we're using anything for staging areas. Yes, ma'am.
I deliver mail, and the part of the route that I've been doing for the last 4 years,
yes,
there's been a burrow, and it used to be marked.
Okay.
And and it is not marked no longer, but the turtle's still there.
Right. Unfortunately, there's a lot, I mean, like I said, we're just now starting as far as marking burrows and stuff. We try to give them a nice circumference
And
as far as what we mark.
Or she, or whatever it is,
Correct.
right on the side of the road.
Right. I'm gonna have all the contact information in there about that scenario, that we can address and take care of and mark it off, you know, properly. Unfortunately,
And
you have.
I don't know who took the sign down.
Right. Unfortunately, you have kids that can go in, take the stakes up, take our tape out. I mean, that's out of our control. We can just, you know, do what we can and keep putting it down and have people maybe help us out and keep an eye on it type thing. So, basically, back to the beginning of this, also with the data, like I mentioned here at the very beginning, once we collect the data, I'm also gonna be able to identify with, using the GPS unit, whether or not the burrow has eggs, and whether it's a juvenile, whether it's an adult. All right there is this little guy right here. And basically what this is it's a GPS device. We have 3 of these in our department alone, and the city, I think, throughout the entire city, we have like 5 of these. So we can actually, myself and there's a couple others, public works staff members that are able to train like volunteers and stuff if we get volunteers, you know, helping out. This is basically, it's a piece of cake to handle. It's really not that intimidating. All right, so basically, I've got a couple burrows here over by Atwater Elementary School already marked off here. I'm just gonna go ahead and pass this around, and the screen goes out, just hit the green button for it to come back up. You can kind of see what we're looking at, and I'll explain the way that I set it up and everything. Charlotte County, I kind of got the idea as far as what I'm gonna be looking at from Charlotte County's GIS, because they've been, I guess, doing this for a little bit. And North Port, well, Public Works in North Port is kind of new at doing this, so trying to get some ideas from them. Basically, we're going to be using that to monitor all the burrows, and we have the ability to create any kind of fields. We can add, take away at any given time what we want to collect. Basically, right now, what I set up as far as like it's, you know, burrow type, whether it's active, inactive, abandoned, or undetermined. Okay, and right now, from what I've seen, just by collecting the information, you can pretty much, it's plain as daylight, it's obvious if the burrow's active. You're getting fresh sand moved on a daily basis. The inactive ones have seemed to be just where the ground's just flat. There's maybe leaves there that are, you know, starting to decay and everything. It looks like it's been undisturbed for a while. As far as the adult and the age, right now we're judging based on the size of the burrow, which again, I have some more pictures. They're going to be real obvious. The burrow share, that's another important piece of information, because we have a lot of little critters that like to share the same holes. Snakes, you know, lizards, you know, a lot of other things that are probably being close to endangered as well. And as far as seeing yes or no, there's a lot of burrows that I came upon where you can actually see the turtle in it, as far as just coming in or coming out. And then there's a couple that are so deep you can't tell. But you can pretty much take a guess based on the earth being disturbed. Here's a couple pictures actually taken from the GPS unit. It actually has a camera on there that also records longitude and latitude that we can share back and forth with FWC. So these 2 burrows here were taken over off of Tropicare. These were part of the pilot project, and it was actually over by Mr. James Blevin's property off of Van Camp, off of Tropicare, and he had a scenario where he's got a berm up to perpendicular to one of our drainage right-of-ways, and he has a whole bunch of burrows in there. He has close to like 50 burrows in that area. So within the whole cul-de-sac area. So I thought that'd be a good area to run a pilot project.
That's awesome. That's very awesome.
Unfortunately, in that type of scenario, there's not much that I myself can do unless it's within the right-of-way alongside the road, because it is, again, private property, so it's kind of a different, you know, unique situation. Yes, ma'am?
I don't want to interrupt, but
Yeah.
as you're going, when you say that you can't do anything if it's on private property, I thought I read in the newspaper either last year or the year before that they made a law
Mm-hmm.
lot of development that goes on, so
Correct.
what happens?
There, in that situation, what I would do is contact FWC. They actually, from talking to them for a brief period, they actually have biologists on board that actually are, they're able to relocate and move the,
May I interject?
yeah,
just real
yeah,
quick?
go ahead.
I'm gonna address all these issues
Okay.
that you
Oh,
have
okay.
in my presentation, so we're gonna speak directly to
Okay.
that, so I promise I will answer your question.
Excellent. Okay.
FWC stands for Florida Wildlife Conservancy.
Commission.
So, I mean, we can help out, but we just, you know, on our part, whether we get permission or not, Mr. Blevins in my case gave me permission to go upon his property and to actually record the turtles and everything. On that kind of scenario, you know, I would have to talk to my boss and stuff, but I'm pretty sure that, you know, we can get involved at a certain point. It's just within the road right of way, drainage right of way, city property, that is no questions asked. We can go check that out and, you know, do what we need to do. All right, this is a sample of one of my maps that I can produce. And again, this isn't like for general purpose use. This is basically for volunteers and other people, you know, in the committee and basically in-house use. And we can share this back and forth with FWC as far as like longitude and latitude to locate the turtle burrows if they have to go check up on anything else. Unfortunately, you know, FWC is constantly out in the field. I spend 90% of my time behind a desk. So I go out when I'm called and when I'm needed upon, basically. So, you know, we don't have a full-time person to dedicate out there as of yet. You know, this is a new thing that we're starting to do, and we're, you know, I think we're taking a lot of big steps so far, and we're doing pretty good with it. Okay, so basically, like I said, the points are for our purpose. They tell us longitude and latitude. The points also tell us we can color code based on what's juvenile, what's adult. We can color code based on which burrows have eggs, so we can monitor them on a daily basis or on a weekly basis, whatever we deem necessary. And we can just mark them as sensitive burrows.
Excuse me, I just have a
Yes.
question about the
Yeah.
picture, cause
I actually have that large map right here.
Oh,
I forgot
okay.
to actually set it up.
So is that grouping of red, is that burrows that are identified?
All those points are burrows, yes ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, they're all burrows.
Can we move in next door?
That's awesome.
Basically, this is a larger version of the map, what you saw on the last screen,
Sweet.
right there. This was pretty much just kind of slapped together. Like I said, I haven't had a lot of time to really spend on it, but once we get going and actually can dedicate some time on this, we can do quite a bit with it. Down in the bottom left corner of the map, oh, thank you. Down in the bottom left corner of the map here is basically everything right there that you're looking at. We can basically, we track everything by an ID number, and then as far as the burrow type, active, inactive, age, scene, additional comments, the date and the time that it was GPS'd, and basically the latitude and longitude, and that would be for the FWC purpose, so he can go out, you know, and check it and make sure, you know, everything is what we say it is. And right here are some more pictures that were taken with the actual GPS unit, and I'll set this up so you guys can, you know, take a better look at it and everything. But these are actual pictures. They actually have the date, time, the longitude and latitude of all these burrows. These burrows here, I believe, were out at Tropicare, and these burrows here were out over south of Atwater, over near one of our city-owned property and everything. We had a staging area out there, and FWC notified us, so I went out there and GPS some more burrows out there. So we're kind of, you know, went from a pilot project to getting this thing going live, you know, pretty fast. So it's definitely a learning process for us. So it's going to be.
Are these landowners sympathetic to these little?
Mr. Blevins loves turtles.
You know they're safe there, that's
Yes.
why they're all like
He
harvesting and mating.
He knows a lot. He was actually, him and I talked for a little bit, and he was actually educating me a lot on these guys, on the species itself and everything. He's been an advocate of Gopher Tortoises for quite some time, and he knows his stuff.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
So is one burrow per turtle, or does one turtle have multiple burrows?
I will go into that.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll cover all biology, habitat, ecosystems, permitting guidelines, relocation, and more.
Great.
We're all so excited.
Right.
I love it, trust me. A
What's-
room full of people that love
Right.
tortoises, I love it.
Well, from the burrows that I've come upon myself personally, I've only seen at least one turtle in there.
Oh, okay.
So that's what I've seen so far. And like I said, probably between the two opposite sides of town, probably GPS, about 75 burrows so far.
I've only seen one turtle.
So, what's that?
I've only seen one turtle.
I've seen probably half a dozen of them.
Oh, okay.
So anywhere
Come by my
from-
house tomorrow about 1.
Yeah.
Chase will be there.
All right, sounds good. All right, so basically this is the information we're gonna be collecting that actually goes into the map and makes the nice maps that you guys see. And as far as, if you guys see anything out there, like I said, within the roadway, anything that has City of North Port all over it, contact customer service. Elizabeth Wong, which is actually our stormwater engineer, actually works with some of the biologists in FWC. She has information as far as like turtle burrow relocations and things like that. So don't be afraid to contact her and get a little more information on it if you guys come upon anything. Or there'll be certain construction projects. I actually got a call last week. They wanted some information as far as they're going to be working on developing on some private land, and I pointed them to her direction, and they gave, basically told them which biologist to talk to and all that. And if you see turtles, pretty much just don't handle them unless they're endangered in the road, anything like that. So, any questions?
So what's next? What's the timing?
Well, like I said, we haven't really had any more meetings on the subject right now. I'm still I've got a couple glitches I need to work out with the GPS unit as far as how we look at some of the maps and how we're gonna produce that in a timely manner. But I'm assuming that, it's something I can talk to my director, Julie Belia. She was actually supposed to be here tonight. I'll talk to her about this, see if we can get more meetings going in the very near future. And we'll come up with a timeline and a whole,
Well, in the meantime, we can, be fielding
Oh, absolutely.
information from any of you who have any sightings anywhere. Please call them in, email us, we're on Facebook, we've got our email address, or call, and just give us the address where it is, and that's a good start. We'll start
Absolutely.
taking that information, and then when we get up to 21st technology, then
Yes.
we'll work that.
yes, absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
Doesn't the FWC have a app for your phone where you can do GPS on that?
I believe they do.
And if they do, are you guys gonna be able to integrate that into your GPS so that you guys can work together on it?
I haven't really looked into it that much, honestly. I saw a little bit on their website that they do have.
I can answer that.
Okay, sorry.
I just don't want to put you in a position
Oh, no,
that you
you're
can't
fine.
answer.
All right, John, just go away, let her come on.
No, I'm serious.
Before City of North Port gives a permit to clear lands,
Yes.
do they have any kind of interest to see if there are actually burrows before the land is bulldozed and cleared?
That's kind of out of my area. I want to say that we have inspectors from other departments that actually check all this out. And, you have to get a land clearing permit, and I believe they actually do.
Yeah, I can answer that. Yeah, when we met with, Public Works, they do have a planning and zoning, or whatever you call it
Correct,
here.
yeah.
And that environmental survey is built into their land clearing permit, so that's not something Public Works deals with, but many cities and counties have that as part of their developmental review process. And they'll have to follow the protocols that we'll be talking about relocation. So that's not necessarily something that you would know Public Works, or have to permit for, so.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you aware of anything like you over towards Rotunda or Inglewood or that area, Cape Hayes Peninsula?
No, I'm not, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Unfortunately, no. Yes.
I didn't answer that.
Right.
We can work with your city, so just get with me afterward, and we can absolutely partner with your city to develop pilot programs like this.
Thank you.
Okay. Go.
Yes, ma'am.
This question is probably for that young
Okay.
lady, but,